First Watch Now.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler. First Watch on 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and Sheriff Mark Daniels. Good morning.
Good morning, Cochise County.
Hello, everyone.
So it's monsoon season, so let's talk about that for a second.
The green's beautiful, but there's a reason it's green. It's been a good monsoon season. We all should be really excited because it was so dry. But with that comes driving in the rain. And especially when we get the downpours, be careful, folks, out there. I'm just saying that. And our search and rescue teams have been very, very busy. But adding the monsoon season on there and flash floods is dangerous. So just be careful. Turn around, don't drown.
That's right. That's just got to be a mantra because people are not used to driving in this, so they follow too closely, and then they drive faster than the conditions warrant, and then they see just a little bit of water and know they can make it. But unfortunately, we've been there when we've had to tell family members and loved ones that someone didn't make it because they attempted that.
Well, the other thing about people is when it rains like that, the oils and debris comes out of the asphalt and makes it very, very slick. And that's one of the reasons roads become slick. And if your tires don't have a lot of tread, for example, you're in a sled. You're truly in a sled. So bottom line, if it's raining, slow down. Enjoy the rain. We don't get to see a lot of it, so enjoy the rain, but slow down and be careful out there.
And when you are crossing something like a ditch, the water may look like it's shallow, but it could actually be deep.
That's true, especially if it's washed out below what you can't see.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You just can't see the bottom of it. Be very, very careful before you cross that.
And you also mentioned search and rescue, so let's give them a shout out.
Well, search and rescue. I just went to Sergeant Dave Nolan's retirement last Saturday night. 40 years plus in law enforcement. Been with us coordinating search and rescue for many, many years, and it's kind of a heartfelt retirement. It's surreal in the fact that we're going to miss him. I mean, the man's well known in the state of Arizona as the best of the best, and so we're in the process of filling a new search and rescue coordinator for the sheriff's office. But in the meantime, I told Dave, I said, Dave, it's going to be a tough transition. First of all, how to dress. Let's give him a little heat on that there tonight. But second of all, he's the legacy here at the sheriff's department. So Pam, his wife, we wish you well, and all his grandkids, enjoy your retirement.
And he's coming back as a volunteer. So money on the table, 2 weeks' time, he'll be back on these calls, but from the other side of it.
The other side, yes. He'll be out there, and he's a great volunteer to have, truly. I mean, I'm glad he just didn't walk away from that. And we had 10, I think, applicants for search and rescue coordinator. Got some really qualified applicants, so they're going to be testing real soon. So we'll have a new face at the sheriff's department running search and rescue.
And, our search and rescue team also had an interesting call, and we've got a lot of feedback on it in our Facebook, but the ghost call in Car Canyon, right, at the falls. Yes. So they had a report of somebody calling for help. The team went out there, they searched around, did what they could, and nobody was there.
And they were out there like 5 hours, like 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
I was watching them, and they did a fabulous job. Again, search and rescue, DPS Ranger was down with their helicopter and all the resources looking for this help, and they didn't find anything. So they think it's a setup.
Well, let's talk about hiring, because the Cochise County Sheriff's Office is now hiring deputies.
We are, and we just got a bump. We're bumping up our salary to $51,000 starting off. We bumped up our detention officers to $40,000 starting off. So, again, these are good starting salaries, good careers. If you want to get in law enforcement, whether it be the detention side, whether it be the sworn side, put your application, go to Cochise County website, look at job opportunities, and you'll see these job descriptions. And we should be bumping up the salaries here in the next 30 to 60 days. Once the funds come available, we'll be readjusting those. But again, we're in the hiring mode. Come work for us.
Especially if you're a lateral. You can be from another agency, and you can come on over.
And I think based on experience, you can go all the way up into $60,000 to start off. So
$62,457.
Yeah, so we're pushing that, and we're trying to stay competitive. We really are in a very competitive world of law enforcement right now, because everybody is hiring. Everybody. Reminds me back in the 80s and 90s where nobody was applying for law enforcement, and we're kind of at that point. We're seeing the end of a lot of scrutiny over the last couple of years, so it's getting difficult. So if you're thinking about a career change, you're looking to get in law enforcement, no better time than now. So we welcome you.
And what are the minimum requirements? Let's start with 18-year-old and 21-year-old, because you can start in detention.
In detention, you can start at 18 in a high school GED certificate to work in our jail. And we train you. You don't need college. We train you. U.S. citizen, physically fit, obviously. You take a aptitude test. It's just general knowledge information. And then you do a quality appraisal board, physical fitness, polygraph, psychological, and pretty much same for the deputies, but you got to be 21. You got to be 21 with a high school diploma, GED. We enjoy college. If you got some college, bring that forward. That helps. But again, it's not a difficult task, but we're just looking for good quality community members. That's what we're looking for.
And 18 and starting at $40,000 a year, plus you get that experience under your belt, and then you can apply and even go to our own internal academy, through Cochise College and Sierra Vista PD. The Sheriff's Office put that on in Douglas. So that's an awesome career track.
It is. Both of them are. And you're in a retirement program, plus you got a heck of a good benefits package. County's got very good benefits. So once again, if you're looking to change your career and you like public safety, we got the job for you.
Arizona Department of Public Safety has a new littering law, but I mean, it's always against the law, but don't litter.
Yeah, there's new line to call where you can report this, and this is a good thing. I mean, if you drive up and down our beautiful highways, and I mean that, we got some beautiful highways out there, and then you see trash all up and down the side of it. That drives me nuts, I'll be honest with you. So now we have a line you can call and report it, and I think it's a great thing.
And it's called Arizona Keep It Grand, which I thought was kind of a neat name for it.
That's a good name.
And if you want that number, it's 1-877-3-LITTER, or you can go to litter.az.gov.
And what they're looking for is a plate number, description of the vehicle, description of the driver, or the person that threw the trash out.
And so you've been busy all week. You've been in Flagstaff. What happened up there?
We had the annual, they call it the powwow, and what it is it's local, state, and federal government coming together to share programs, ideas, meetings. That we had an Arizona Sheriff's meeting up there, which is shared through with our police chiefs, our federal partners, the attorneys. We had a meeting with the County Attorneys Association. There's actually a group called County Attorney Sheriff Association. So we all met up there too. But we just talk about different challenges, different programs, the budget. We all just came out of that budget, both local and state. So we talked about those funds. One of the things I think is really important for community safety, public safety is there's a form that the courts use, and this is the form that evaluates your risk back into community. A lot of questions about it, I'll just say that. And it's set by the Justices of Arizona, the high courts, the presiding. And I'll give you an example. What brought this forward is in Yavapai, Sergeant Rick Lopez was killed about a week and a half ago by an individual who just got released on the lowest of levels. And then within hours, days later, he killed this deputy sheriff. So the Sheriff Rhodes out of Yavapai presented this to the County Attorney Sheriff Association, and we agreed, we voted unanimously to bring this forward. We have to keep people that are a risk to the community off our public streets and incarcerated. And it amazes me that we release violent people. I'll just say that. So we're going to make the push here. Where some states are saying we think it's okay, Arizona sheriffs and county attorneys do not. And we're going to push that button to see if we can tighten up that. And let's just get back to common sense. Let's not put a number on a risk. Let's put the person that is in custody and say, is this person a risk? And we can tell that. Look at his criminal record. Look how he's behaved in the past. And let the judge at that point make a decision we think is common sense.
The Cochise County Board of Supervisors has now passed our budget as well.
They have. So we're in the process of preparing we call them personnel action forms. They'll be due in August to actually start adjusting our salaries for our employees. I appreciate that. So now we can start moving forward and give our market adjustments. It's a tough time right down there. Government employees don't, especially at the local level, we don't get paid a lot. We don't. So this opportunity, we want to get the money in their hands, and the cost of items, gas, everything out there is really, really expensive. So we're trying to offset that a little bit.
And you've also helped with assisting the schools. So there was $1.5 million given to schools for their security.
Well, it was awarded to the sheriffs I think 12 out of 15 sheriffs got awarded school security funds. We got $1.5 million, and so I reached out to all the superintendents, and with coordination being Superintendent Jackie Clay, our county, to work with the schools around the county and their leadership, the superintendents, what's best. I mean, I shouldn't tell a school how to spend money. This is school security money, so let's get the superintendents, figure out what's best for them. We'll be the fiduciaries on the funds and let them figure out the programs, and we'll submit it and make our schools a little safer here in Cochise County.
And we're going to have some visitors to the county from the New York Times and the South Dakota sheriffs.
Yeah, starting tonight, we got sheriffs from South Dakota coming in. We also have the New York Times that's going to be with us all weekend. So if you see us out there running around, yeah, these are sheriffs from South Dakota. Last week, we had Georgia sheriffs. I mean, it's part of our program, Borders to the Backyards, where we bring sheriffs and media from all over the country here. Let them share us. Let them see what's going on, not by opinions, but by facts, and then take that back to their communities, because we're all integrated one way or another. We're all part of the great country.
And they really want to see what Cochise County does in a variety of different situations. And specifically, we have shown them border issues that we've been dealing with, and also Operation Safe Streets. So with that being said, it's going to be very similar. And we've also had a number of those occur again throughout this week. We're averaging a couple a day. And so tell us a little bit about last week, what happened with a stolen vehicle.
Well, and let me echo this too with you, Carol, is the fact that our pursuits are just rampant right now. And it's just sad. These people that are coming to our county to pick up the illegal migrants, I mean, for no reason, just drive 100+ miles an hour through our communities. It puts law enforcement in a real pickle. I mean, and the analogy, once you chase them, they go faster, so you're part of the problem. We do nothing, we're part of the problem. And this is a tough conversation to have, especially internally, with especially our young deputies, the young officers from the police departments, troopers, that we need to stop these people. And our Safe Streets has all kinds of collective measures to do that. But on normal patrols, you see a car go by at 100 miles an hour. I do not expect my deputies to sit there and look the other way. We're going to do everything we can to warn the public, set up tactical measures to stop that car, and bring it to a safe conclusion. That's the ultimate goal. Unfortunately, last Friday we had one where it was a stolen vehicle out of Phoenix coming down here. They pulled into the Circle K. We were alerted to the stolen vehicle off some technology we have. Pulled into the Circle K store there off Buffalo Soldier. They went inside. We had unmarkeds watching it. They came out. Our deputies went to grab them as they're fighting the male subject. He fought the deputies. She jumps in the car and takes off. Because we had 3 sworn deputies there. Well, when she took off, she came within 6 inches of running over one of my deputies. And that makes a whole new crime out of it. And if you harm a citizen, harm law enforcement, we're coming at you. I mean, our job now is, because you become a aggravated threat to this community. We chase that vehicle north on Buffalo Soldier Trail, Fry Boulevard, 7th Street, down 92, down to Yawkey, back into town, and out toward 89 Junction. We had spiked that vehicle like 4 or 5 times, different agencies, service to PD, Sheriff's Office. I think the troopers even got a couple spikes in there. In fact, the troopers and the Sheriff's Office, we were leading that. Chased it all the way almost to the 89 Junction. We had more tactical prevention right there to stop it again. DPS used the grapper. That's the hook system. In fact, I was on one of the leaders of the chase, along with DPS. The marked unit went around, grappled the car, and went off in the shoulder, and we brought it to a safe conclusion. Let me just say, that was a 30-minute chase at 80 to 90 miles an hour, driving on 2 inflated tires and 2 rims. That's a scary time for us as we chase it. We try to back the speeds off to slow the driver down. Sadly, they don't respond to that well. And it's just scary. And we're trying to do everything we can to alert the public during these pursuits. But that's what we're seeing out there. Next day, another one at 120 miles an hour. It's every day. I just don't know how to say it. It's every day. And my warning to everybody is, if you see lights, pull over. Be very, very vigilant on that and cautious on that, because these chases, I don't want to see somebody hurt here. And we're doing everything we can to do education, prevention, and hopefully the rule of law to keep people from coming here. And sadly enough, the cartels are paying them more than these prevention messages are working. But we're not going to give it up. I can promise you that.
And also, you had a stop of the week that involved a DUI.
I was heading to Wilcox Saturday night around 5 or 6. And I had my wife with me. We're going to in fact, Sergeant Dave Knowles' retirement party at the for the sheriff, search and rescue coordinator. And the car in front of me is a truck, is weaving back and forth. They call it drifting within the lane, on the line, back over, and then went into the shoulder. And I'm like, okay. So I ended up stopping the vehicle out there by Airport Road and 90, going into Wichita City. Sure enough, he had been drinking. Sure enough, and so we get him out of the car. A very nice gentleman. Sadly, he made a very bad decision to drink and drive. And so he ended up going to jail. My deputies came out there, assisted me, and he told me. First he said, that's the way I drive normally. But then he told me, he told the other officers, I'm buzzed. Folks, if you're buzzed is drunk driving. Buzzed is drunk driving. You've seen the commercials. It's real. He ended up going to jail. And we don't enjoy taking people to jail, but we do enjoy making our community safer and our streets safer. So please don't drink and drive. That's my safety message. If you do drink and drive, we pretty much have a zero tolerance. We're going to stop the threat. We'll evaluate it, but chances are you're going to be charged.
And some of the other things that we've been working on for this week has been the U.S. Marshals have been in town acting as a force multiplier for the Sheriff's Office. We have an education detail that we've been running, and the Marshal's Office are helping with that. And it's essentially the offenders, anybody who's convicted of these offenses have to register with the Sheriff's Office. And this is the highest we've had in a ever. I started to say in a really long time, but it's ever. 296 offenders that we have registered right now. Sex offenders. Yeah. So we're happy that the Marshal's Office is helping us out, because one of the main things is some laws changed in January of this year, and they wanted to make sure that all of these 296 people were contacted and made aware of the law and made sure that everybody was in compliance. So we've been successful thus far. We appreciate the Marshal's Office doing all of that, and thanks for our staff, jumping up and helping along the way.
It is truly keeping accountability to those that have been convicted and are under sanctions through Superior Court, that they're following the rules. We have 2 part-time sex offenders coordinators that go out there and check to make sure our offenders are in compliance. And if they go out of compliance, which means they move, they don't tell us, they take off, they're not following the rules, we issue a warrant for them right away. We go after them. The U.S. Marshals have agreed, which has always been a great partner to the Sheriff's Office, to work with us. So we're checking almost 300 people here over the week. We started that last week, and we'll be doing that for some time till we get them caught up.
We have 3 absconders out of all of that so far. I mean, that's pretty darn good rate of return there, and just having our staff continually keeping updated with the offenders and making sure that notifications are done appropriately and that everybody is registering like they need to, and that they're aware of the changes that are coming, have signed their new paperwork. So we're happy that we've gotten that much further along in this.
We are, and again, when I took over as sheriff, that was a big thing. When I met with our sex offender unit, was talking about that. And if they go out of compliance, we go after them. We'll definitely go after them. And if we can't find them, most of them move out of state. They totally scound out of state. So we get warrants for them. So as soon as they're stopped, in the law states, they have to check in and to the nearest sheriff's office and register with us. If they don't, they're in violation, which is a felony.
Well, let's talk about, before you go, we're going to have probation in here in just a few. Let's talk about Probation Officer Week.
First of all, I applaud our probation officers, the men and women that go out there, because once they're arrested, on the front of it, and that's usually law enforcement, sheriff's office, police officers, and troopers, then they go through the courts, and then once they're signed their punishment, I'm just keeping it simple, then probation or parole keeps an eye on them. That's a tough job. From all levels, from the lowest risk to the highest risk. They call it intensive probation, but my hats are off to them. We've always had a great working relationship with our probation officers, our parole officers. We need them as much as they need us. So it's just a working collective part of the criminal justice system. So congratulations, and I applaud all our probation and parole officers.
And Sheriff Mark Daniels, we thank you for coming and talking to us this morning.
Thank you, Grady. Thank you, Kara. Everybody have a safe week.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
It's First Watch Now.
Hosted by Public Information Officer Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
On 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative. I'm Grady Butler, and in the studio, I've got the probation officers here. We're going to start with the Chief, John Scow. Good morning.
Good morning, Grady. I want to thank you and also Carol and, of course, Chief Sheriff Daniels for having us this morning. We're here to educate the public a little bit about probation. Next week is probation week in Cochise County. The Board of Supervisors has declared next week, this year, as they have the last 2 years, as pretrial probation and parole week in Cochise County, and they encourage all citizens to honor the professionals for their important records of public service faithfully rendered.
So can you tell us what is that the proclamation you're reading?
Yes.
Is it done? You got more?
No.
That's done? Okay,
yeah, that's
cool.
Good.
Well, that's going to be next week, and it's a celebration for you guys for what you do in our community. So let's talk about what is it? What is probation?
So probation is a criminal justice sentence in lieu of prison. So when someone's either a juvenile or an adult is either adjudicated delinquent or convicted of a crime, their sentence, which is the most used sentence in the United States, about 70%, is a probation sentence, which is in lieu of prison. It's different from parole. Many people confuse probation and parole. Parole officers supervise persons that are released from prison, and it's under the control of the prison system. In other words, if they violate their parole, they go right back into prison. The parole board runs that. Probation is it's a sentence handed down by the courts, and it is highly effective. It's actually the most effective in rehabilitation and accountability in the United States.
So why would we have, just to kind of clarify for the listeners, if somebody is going to be going to jail, why is it okay for them to not go to jail and do probation instead? What does that do for the community?
Well, we base things on risk. So we have a risk assessment. And so people are low, medium, high, and very high. Some, because of different laws and everything, some persons are not probation eligible, and they will go to prison. But most of the cases are probation eligible cases, and most of those people do go on probation. But we base how they're supervised once they go on probation. So if they're high risk, they normally go on intensive probation. And our two probation officers that are with us here today are both intensive probation officers, one for the adult and one for juvenile. But they'll be able to talk about a little bit about what they do once somebody's placed on probation. And we can start off with adult intensive probation officer Monica Mccall, who will talk to you a little bit about the adult system.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for inviting us. Yes, so I am Monica Mccall, and I work with intensive probation clients. Our clients are high risk, very high risk. I work with a partner who is a surveillance officer. His name is Steve Ochotorena. We work together and supervising our clients. In our department, we have different units. It is composed of pretrial, pre-sentence, standard probation, intensive probation, and recently we incorporated drug court, which we are very happy to have with us right now because it's assisting our community in rehabilitating the offender, which is one of our primary reasons why we do what we do. We like to work with all kinds of clients, obviously. We advocate for the victim's rights. That is one of our biggest priorities, and we restore the victim. We also, with adults, it's a little bit different because we work with them with making sure that they take accountability for their actions. And our main focus is to protect our community, to keep our community safe.
Let's talk a little bit about drug court. Tell us what that is.
Actually, Chief, this is something new, so I will give the pleasure to the Chief to talk about drug court.
Right. So drug court is brand new, and it's actually just had our second week of hearings last week. We have 3 clients right now. However, we have some in the pipeline. Drug court is obviously, actually, it's for us. We have high risk offenders in drug court, and they have the opportunity to meet with they'll actually have a hearing and a staffing with a team, and that team consists of the judge, as well as a probation officer, drug court coordinator, the defense attorneys, the county attorney's office, and treatment. So that's all together as a team working together to help each person that's in the drug court program to be successful. They see the judge every week for a while in different phases, and then as they progress through the system, they go less and eventually get mostly successfully terminated. We have a high rate of successful terminations in our probation department in adult and juvenile. As it is, we for our adult probation officers, and this is not just drug court, but this is throughout our whole adult system. Last year, during our COVID environment, our probation officers still made over 25,000 contacts on 724 standard probationers and 70 intensive probationers in our community. So if you put that together, that's about close to 800 persons in Cochise County that are on probation. And although Monica talked about her clients are all high risk, our standard probation caseloads average 31% of their caseloads are also high risk. So we work on a risk needs responsivity type of a model where the evidence shows that people that are low risk aren't going to come back. They don't need the supervision, and some can be unsupervised in the juvenile system, some can be in a diversion program. It's the higher risk people that we want to put our time and effort in, because those are the ones that we can work with to lower their risk, and so that when they can be successfully terminated from probation, then they can be back in the community and be productive citizens. And by using these evidence-based practices, we know that when someone's on probation, we can hold them accountable while they're on probation. But our goal now is to, when they terminate probation successfully, we want them to be successful in the community and not come back. And we have a very good record on that as well. Our successful terminations from probation last year averaged a 31% decrease in their risk, which is very, very good.
Well, Chief, you also brought a juvenile juvenile probation officer with you, so let's introduce her.
Yes, she is JIPS officer. JIPS stands for Juvenile Intensive Probation Supervision. She is JIPS officer Isla Lewis.
Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Hi, Grady. Thank you for having us today. I am the JIPS officer for Cochise County. My surveillance officer and I, Jim Burt, cover the entire county for any kid that is placed on juvenile intensive probation. On the juvenile side, our main goal is rehabilitation. We work with the youth, their family, the community members that are involved in their lives, whether that's their school, their treatment agencies, anyone that's playing an active role in their life is someone that we want to collaborate with to make sure that our juveniles are receiving every possible opportunity that they can have to be successful. We are a Kids at Hope model, which means that we believe that all kids are capable of success with no exceptions. That capability exists in all of our youth. I do know that in our community, when our detention facility closed at the beginning of 2021, there was a misconception that detention just didn't exist. Kids didn't get detained. I do want to just take a second to clarify that. Kids do get detained, and we have a wonderful detention screening and transport team that probation works hand in hand with. However, that is used as almost a last resort. Not all youth should be detained, and so it's really reserved for those that need detention. However, with the Kids at Hope model, we do want to strive for success for all of our youth, and we focus on allowing them the opportunity to make changes and rehabilitate in the community as best as possible.
What's really neat is from both of you, I've already seen that you guys really care about these people. It's not just that they're a number that has to go through the system. You guys want to take care of these people, especially the kids.
Absolutely. And the consensus in this room, I would say everyone that works with probation in Cochise County has a true desire to want to help our offenders become successful and be accountable and rehabilitate and become active, successful members in our community.
Yeah, and I want to talk a little bit about the probation officers, what they do, and what the requirements are. So we have probation and surveillance officers that work together as teams, and we also have pretrial officers, which are surveillance officers, and we have detention officers. So detention officers and surveillance officers require a high school diploma, and it's an entry-level job, but people make a career of it, and they can make a career of it, a very successful one. Probation officers in Arizona require to have a bachelor's degree. So it's harder for us to recruit probation officers, especially in Cochise County. The rural counties throughout the state have that problem. But it's very important that they have that type of education. Probation officers go through an academy in Phoenix. It's a statewide standardized academy that includes a few weeks of just the basics. They also go through another week of defensive tactics, and most of our officers are armed, and that includes another week-long firearms academy, and then they're required to keep up those quals each year with requalifications and as far as firearms goes, regular practice throughout the year. We also, in the course of their duties, they sometimes come across a situation where they have to do a search. One of the conditions of probation is that the clients can be searched, their person and their property and their home without a warrant. And some of our recent searches have come up with the confiscation of several laptops, smartphones, and other things with pornographic material from a serious sex offender. Another one of ours searches came up with a large quantity of methamphetamines, and another by a prohibited possessor, which is somebody that cannot carry or possess a firearm, pretty much an arsenal of weapons from their home. So our officers do encounter these types of situations. Not everybody is following the rules, and so they're vigilant. They, even though they're concentrating on the behavior change, they are also concentrating on anything that would affect the victim and anything that would endanger the community.
Well, you've got your celebration coming up next week. What can the community do for your department?
Just, I think, just to recognize that we are part of the justice system, just like the sheriff's department and the court. We do work for the court in Arizona. We're part of the judicial branch, and as in half the country is like that, and that our people are professional. They are peace officers. They do have arrest authority in the course of their duties and our duties. And next week we're going to celebrate that. We have a breakfast for them on Monday morning, a Taco Tuesday, things that our myself, my deputy chiefs, and our supervisors have put in their own money to raise for a picnic on Friday at the park in Sierra Vista, and we're going to have a great time celebrating.
Well, we thank you for what you do in our community and what you do in the probation offices. We really appreciate your contribution to law enforcement and to our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
It's First Watch on KWCD Country, and it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
It's First Watch Now
Hosted by Public Information Officer Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
on 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me, I've got Melanie from the Sierra Vista Chamber of Commerce. Good morning.
Good morning, Grady.
Well, we've got the Home and Business Expo coming up. First of all, let's talk about how you've consolidated this year.
We have. We know everybody is so busy this year. So instead of doing two expos this year, we have combined them all into one. So that way all of our wonderful guests that come out, they've got the one expo, but it's definitely one that they don't want to miss. Vendors as well. You don't want to miss this one because it's the one expo we're doing this year.
And when is it going to be?
August 20th, and it'll be from 11 to 3 at the mall at Sierra Vista.
And you guys are still looking for vendors at this point.
Yes, we are. We have a list of vendors that are already signed up. Best part about being a vendor for this is you don't have to be a chamber member. So that's exciting. There is a different price for chamber members, obviously, but we did not raise our prices this year, even though inflation is going up and everything else is going up. We kept our prices the same this year.
And just to show how cool it is to do it early, let's say who's already there. That way we can kind of give them a shout out for being first on the block.
So here's a shout out to some of our vendors that have already signed up. We have Right at Home Sierra Vista, Be Well Pharmacy, the Sierra Vista Community Chorus Society, Dove Security, Prestige Remodeling and Restoration, Going to Grandma's, Sierra Medicare Solutions, Nature's Healthier Alternatives, that's a hard one to say, Assurian Tech Repair and Solutions, ERA Four Feathers Realty with Sabine Melliker. We have Calidora Travel, Haven Health of Sierra Vista. So you can see this is our home, health, and business expo. So we have a huge variety of vendors that are going to be out there. We have some more as well, but that just kind of gives you an idea of the variety.
So how do you become a vendor?
It's really easy. You just go to svachamber.com. That's short for Sierra Vista Area Chamber, and you can register right there under events.
So when you go to a business expo and you're walking through all the vendors, what's the experience like? What are you going to see at tables, for example?
Well, we're working with all of our vendors to offer a nice little gift basket or prize, and so there should be one of those available at least most of our vendors that are going to be out there. But it's an opportunity to really meet our local vendors in the area and get to know them and learn about their products or their services directly from them. And as we all know, people like to do business with people that they know, and so this is the perfect way to get out there and also to see the mall, because the mall is full, and even the food court is almost full right now as well. So there's a lot going on at the mall, and there's a lot of entertainment, there's shopping, there's a lot going on.
Now, usually when you do these expos, you have a shred-a-thon. Are you doing one of those with this one?
We are. Actually, our shred-a-thon is going to be that morning. We changed the times a little bit, so we want people to know it's going to go from 8 a.m. until noon, or until the truck is full. The truck has big dragons on both sides, and so we say when the dragon looks pregnant, it's full. And so we will have that going on from 8 to noon. It is a drive-through event. It's $5 cash per box or bag. Please remove all binder clips and bindings before you come through, but you just drive through, give us the money, we'll take everything out of your trunk or the back of your vehicle, and then we are just ready to go, and you can just drive on out and you're good to go.
And who's the sponsor of the Shred-a-thon?
So we have our exclusive Shred-a-thon sponsor is Guild Mortgage.
All right. And inside at the expo, who are the sponsors of that?
So the sponsors of that, and I do have to correct myself, the expo actually goes from 10 until 3 inside the mall.
Okay.
But definitely a huge shout out to our sponsors. Our diamond sponsor is SSVEC. Gold sponsor, Canyon Vista Medical Center. Copper sponsor, United Healthcare Medicare Solutions. And our media sponsor is Herald Review Media.
Let's remind everybody one more time how to become a vendor.
go to svachamber.com and click on events, and you'll see it right under there, and it just says register for this event. Click that and you can get registered. And again, August 20th at the mall at Sierra Vista, but our vendor sign up closes August 14th.
Okay, good to know. Do you have any other events coming up that we can talk about before we go?
We do. August 3rd, we have our next Military Affairs Luncheon, and that's at Thunder Mountain Activity Center on Fort Huachuca. That starts at 11:30. We have a guest speaker, Dr. Gary Packard. He's the Dean of the University of Arizona College of Applied Sciences and Technology. It's a great networking event for all of our businesses out there that are looking to network with leaders in our community. We get updates from the county, from the city, Huachuca City as well, and also from the Chamber and Fort Huachuca.
Well, let us know before you go about all of your social media contacts and ways to get a hold of the Sierra Vista Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, we have multiple social media contacts. So we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. So we have all of those. We also have our website, which is svachamber.com. Or if you don't do social media, you listen to the radio, you don't do social media, then you can always give us a call Monday through Thursday at the office, 9 to 4, and the number's 520-458-6940.
Well, thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Thank you, Grady.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
You've been listening to First Watch with the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
Join us again next Friday morning, 7 to 8 a.m.
First Watch.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Only on 92.3 KWCD.